Hello, I feel slightly emotional doing this video. This feels like the perfect video to do after my 10th anniversary video because as of March the 11th, I have been on YouTube for 10 whole years, an entire decade of my life making videos, which just seems bizarre to me because it feels like only yesterday I was at my mum and dad's house deliberating on whether to get involved in this whole world of YouTube that was slowly but surely evolving. But for those of you that have been here from the very beginning, you will know that the majority of my first videos were made at my parents' house where I was, you know, living in the room that I grew up in, and my shot of choice, my setup and my background of choice were my bookshelves. And that's one of the things so many of you have said that you've missed from my old videos since I moved to my first flat in 2015, because I loved my flat, but it was a 1-bedroom tiny little flat that had one small bookshelf, and I have hundreds of books and I couldn't take them all with me, so they all stayed at my parents' house until now. Most of you know I moved into essentially my dream home at the beginning of 2019, but because of renovations that I was told were going to take 10 weeks and took 7 months, and then of course COVID, I've not been able to furnish the house in the way that I would like to, which means all of my books have been sat in boxes in my garage for the last 2 years. It's been a very long time since I've seen my beloved book collection, but the wonderful Dan McKinley, who used to be an actor, he was in Book of Mormon with my boyfriend before I knew my boyfriend. He is now a carpenter and has made these bookshelves, and I cannot recommend him highly enough. He did downstairs, and when I saw the amazing job that he's done, I was like, Dan, could you just pop upstairs and measure what is going to be my office, because I need you to make what you've made down here upstairs, because it's just exquisite. If I think about when I was 18, making videos for the first time in my parents' house, if you'd asked me then to describe my perfect dream house, it could have been a dump, but as long as there was a room filled with books, I would have been happy. So the fact that 10 years later, I am now sat in my very own room full of books. Emotional times. I also think, for anyone just joining who has never watched a video of mine before, this is maybe the most stereotypical I will ever look. I am sat here in front of my wall of books in a jumpsuit that is covered in cats with a Disney mug of coffee. If that isn't my aesthetic, I don't know what is. So, now that my wonderful bookshelves are up and my books, all 820 of my books, yes, I counted them, are now on show, I will be making lots of videos in front of these bookshelves, but I will also be making lots of book-themed videos, like I used to and like I've missed doing. But it's very hard to make book videos when you have no books around. It's very difficult. So as an introduction back into my book-themed videos, I thought I would do the reading habits tag, and I've just been looking through the creator of this tag's videos to see if they ever mention how to pronounce their last name. But I just looked through like 10 videos and not once do they ever say their last name. So I'm gonna attempt, and if I get it wrong, please correct me in the comments, but Ariel Bissett. But I've been watching their videos loads, along with Books and Lala and Noel Gallagher. Just obsessed. And Jack Edwards as well. I can't get enough of the bookish content, so I'm just gonna dive right in with the reading habits tag. I forewarn you, prepare to be shocked. Okay, question number 1. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? I feel like because I have been in this house for a relatively short time, bear in mind the first year of me owning this house was pretty much all renovations where I had to move into my brother's house, and up until literally 3 days ago, all of my books were in the garage. I feel like I'm not at a point where I am completely familiar with where I read in this house, but all of the reading I have done in this house so far has been on the sofa downstairs but I think that's because this office wasn't finished and I do have a sofa up here, so I feel like a lot of reading is going to be done on my purple sofa. But at the moment, it's downstairs on the sofa. I feel like as soon as I start reading in bed, I just fall asleep, or I get super tired to the point where my eyes are just sort of stinging or watering and closing and I'm not taking anything in. So reading in bed is kind of a no-go for me unless I am like wired and wide awake. I know this question is a certain place at home for reading, but I do so much reading on trains. I have about an hour's commute from my house to the theatre when I'm working, and that is where I used to get so much reading done on the way to work. So can I also say the tube, the TFL for that? I'm gonna say that. 2, bookmark or random piece of paper. I have an abundance of bookmarks, to the point where once I even used to say that I collected bookmarks. Like, I have so many beautiful bookmarks that I've collected from places I've been to. Like, I've got one that's got the Burj Khalifa on it from when I went to Dubai. I got Ollie to bring me back one when he was doing cruises, performing on cruises a few years ago. I was like, make sure you get me a bookmark. And yet, do I use them? No, I don't. Do you know what I do? Hear that siren? That is the book police coming to get me because I dog ear my pages. I know you're not meant to. I know that that is against all of the reading rules. I am sorry, but I dog ear my pages. It's just quick. And the amount of times when I'm reading on the train and I see that I'm about to like miss my stop, I don't want to be faffing about with trying to get the bookmark out my bag or out the back of the book or wherever I've put it. I just dog ear the page and go. Speed. That is what I'm here for. I'm here for the speed. Just spilt my coffee. That's really good. Really good. If I'm reading a book at home that has a dust jacket and the book does not have to go in my rucksack for work, I will just keep the dust jacket on the book and I will use the flap to like flap into the pages. However, if I know that I'm going to be taking this book somewhere into London on my commute and the book has to go into my rucksack, I always take the dust jacket off and leave it somewhere safe, because I have ripped so many dust jackets by just stuffing the book in my bag. Again, because I'm in a hurry, so I need to protect the beautiful dust jacket at all costs. So I take it off, read the book without the dust jacket, dog ear the pages when I need a bookmark, and then once I'm done reading, I put the dust jacket back on and put it back on my shelves, all nice and neat. There's a process, gang, okay? There's a process. 3, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? I can't just stop reading halfway through a page. I just can't do it. It either has to be at the end of a chapter, or if there's like a page break or a paragraph break, or if there's like, you know, like the 3 asterisks, like, meanwhile, somewhere else in the story, and then the story moves on. I have to stop at a natural break. Otherwise, when I come back to it, I will just forget. I will just forget where I was, and I will just waste my time reading words I've already read. 4, do you eat or drink while reading? I usually, eating, not so much. Drinking, definitely. I feel like I never sit down to read without a cup of tea or coffee or a can of Coke Zero, which I am completely addicted to, or a big glass of water, or just some kind of liquid. I just need some kind of liquid. I mean, even to do this video, I've got a pint of coffee and a pint of water. I feel like I just need liquids around me no matter what I'm doing. So reading is no different. Speaking of water. Hydrate, kids. 5, multitasking, music or TV while reading. TV is a definite no-go. Anything with words, lyrics or people talking or people singing, it's like my brain splits itself in 2 and does neither task well. However, I hate reading in silence, because then it's like the thing that I need to listen to is my own brain, and I will just hear my own thoughts and end up being pulled completely out of the book. So what I've been doing is finding YouTube videos of fires like crackling with rain or thunder behind it. And that is great. I love that. Just a bit of atmosphere, you know? Just, you know, an atmospheric reading experience. This is what we like. 6, one book at a time or several at once. I think the people who read several books at once are not of this world. I don't understand how they do it. I barely have enough capacity in my brain for my own life and a book, let alone multiple stories and multiple worlds. I just can't do it. I am a one book, I am a monogamous. You know when you say a word so many times it makes zero sense? Monogamous. I am a monogamous reader. I am a one book at a time kind of gal. Does that make any sense? 7, reading at home or everywhere. I mean, not everywhere, like within reason. If there's a lot going on in my surroundings, I won't be able to concentrate on the book. Or if there's like interesting people in the room, I would much rather be talking to them than reading my book. For the most part, coffee shops, TFL, as I've said. By the way, TFL stands for Transport for London. It's not some like weird reading club that I go to. And at home, I mean, everywhere. Everywhere, within reason. Number 8, reading out loud or silently in your head. Silently in my head. I think it'd be weird if I was just sat downstairs like essentially doing my own audiobook that no one would listen to. Also, I think because I've done audiobooks, I've narrated audiobooks and I know just how exhausting that is, I think doing that for every book is just not a good idea. However, sometimes I will come across a sentence that doesn't compute for some reason, and the best way that I can like untangle the mess that I've caused in my head is to read it out loud, and then I'm like, oh okay, I understand what that means now, or I understand how that was meant to be said by that character. But I do just really love the idea of Oliver coming downstairs and I'm just like giving a performance and reading my book out loud. Number 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? I am definitely guilty of reading ahead, but I always go back. I will never just skip pages just because I'm like bored, or I don't know, for whatever reason you would skip pages. I don't think I've ever just skipped pages for a laugh, but I'm not very good with stress or anxiety inducing scenarios, and if there is a chance for me to alleviate some kind of stress or anxiety whilst reading, I will do that. So if a character is in like a very cringeworthy, awkward, or tense situation, I will skim ahead just a little bit. I won't like skip whole chapters, but I will skim ahead on the pages that I'm on just to see where this is going, just to see if it turns out okay. And once I am satisfied that the character is going to be okay, I will go back and continue to read, to fill in the gaps, if that makes sense. 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. There is only one book I have that has its spine broken, but it is my copy of Twilight. Look how broken that spine is. I think I've read Twilight more than any other book. I know I was a 14-year-old who just wanted to snog a vampire. What can I say? What can I say? Am I sorry about it? No. But yeah, that is, that's not a healthy book. Let's be honest. But I'm pretty sure this is the only book that has a broken spine in my collection. I don't even know, I don't know how this happened, to be honest. And I don't know how you even go about breaking a spine. I feel like you've got to be quite an aggressive reader to break a spine, and I don't think I am. She says, holding up this absolutely battered copy of Twilight. And finally, number 11, do you write in your books? I do not. I do not. I don't think I've ever written in a book, unless it was like for school and I had to like annotate and make notes. What I tend to do, and I've started a book club, as I said in my last reading video, I've started a book club with a bunch of theatrical women that I know, and I was speaking to Sedge, one of the girls. She started saying something and I was like, oh my god, I don't know anyone else who does this, and I love that you've said this. But she was saying that whenever she is like bookmarking, she'll fold down the top corner of the page, but if she's read something really interesting or something that she would like to remember or revisit, she'll bookmark dog-ear the bottom corner of the page. And I was like, oh my god, that's what I do. I did it a lot with The Midnight Library. That's the book that I've done it the most with recently, because there was just so much in that book where a character says a really poignant line, or there's something in the narrative that just really got me, and I was like, I want to remember that. But obviously if I dog-ear the top part of the page, I'll think that that's where I need to come back to. So I dog-eared the bottom half of the page. And yeah, so that is kind of the extent of my ever like annotating a book of sorts, but I never sit there with like a highlighter and a pen. So there we go. There are my reading habits. Let me know what you think of my new background. Let me know what your answers are to those questions. And if there are any bookish videos, tags, any kind of reading themed content you would like to see from me, please let me know in the comments because I am all about it. I am so excited to get going. And I have a Bookstagram. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but go and follow my Bookstagram. Link below. It's called Prattle and Pages. I will be posting lots of pictures in the near future because I've got pretty things to take pictures of now. Hooray! Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.